It was a cool day in March. I just got home from school. It was a Thursday afternoon. I got a text from Steve and Frank in the group chat asking if I wanted to go hang out at the mall that day, along with Chad and Colin. Obviously, I said yes. I brought a bit of money or cash just so I could, in case anything I wanted to buy. Though I didn't really intend on spending too much money. Anyway, I got in the car and headed on over to the Francis Botke Mall in Vanderbilt, Maryland. I pulled into the parking lot just outside of the Barnes& and Noble, which is where we agreed to meet. Colin, Chad, Steve, and Frank were already there, waiting for me.
What's going on, bros? What are you thinking of buying today?
Chad, what the fuck do you mean we're thinking of buying today? I remember last week at Target you spent like $300 on shit, said Colin.
Well, bros. Springtime and the game season. Gotta be prepared.
Alright, man, let's go inside. I'm trying to hit Spencer's,
said Steve. Why do you want to go there, Steve? What's so special about Spencer's?
Man, they got all the fucking, Hey, never mind. That's some Buzzman type shit.
I know what Spencer's is!
Oh, yes. We all knew what Spencer's was. It was infamous for having all sorts of questionable, weird toys in it. But we didn't need to go over that. For now, we're to look around Barnes & Noble at some classy books.
Let's go look at some books, bros. It's time to enrich our minds, not just our bodies, when it comes to the games,
said Chad. We did just that. We walked inside Barnes & Noble and all split up. I decided to go to the language section since that's what I'm into, along with Colin. Chad decided to go to the sports novelty section, which mostly consisted of magazines. And Steve and Frank simply decided to dick around in the Starbucks that the Barnes & Noble had.
Yo, man, I'ma throw some fucking coffee at you, Buzzman.
You wouldn't think about that twice now, Steve. I want to take a shower.
Buzzman, when the fuck do you take showers? You just stabbed yourself an X.
Steve was getting a little too cocky though, because last time I checked, he too douses himself in Axe, the body spray. Anyway, Steve took a coffee and chucked it at Frank. He missed, and the coffee landed on the ground. Buddy, you better be paying for that. We're gonna clean it up too, the worker said.
Heh, bitch, I ain't paying for shit,
said Steve. Hey, if you don't pay in 5 seconds, I'll be calling the cops, the Starbucks worker stated firmly.
Shit, come on, Buzzman, we got a dip, let's roll.
I looked over at Steve and Frank and saw them booking it out of Barnes & Noble. Come on, Colin, Chad, we gotta go. Something just went down, I said. We ditched what we were doing and run out of the store.
But Chief, it's hot in Dick's.
Dick's was a sporting goods store at the mall. We went in there to hide Steve and Frank went in there to hide from the cops, from Steve's stolen coffee. And they all chose different hiding spots. Colin, Chad, and I didn't actually do anything wrong, so we didn't hide actually. Steve and Frank decided to hide under some kayaks that were located right by the entrance of the store. And people gave them some pretty weird looks as they were climbing under the boats. Tiny boats. The kayaks.
Buzzman, you better keep your bitch ass down with the po-po raft,
said Steve. I don't know, looked kind of weird. I think Steve had a dab pen or something with him that a friend gave him, because I could see the suspicious-looking smoke emanating from the kayak as he hid. Shit, this dude's gonna blow his cover, I said. I know, right? Colin replied.
Right, well, bros. Let's forget the illegal stuff. Let them be. We're in Dick's now. The game's paradise.
Now, I knew Chad wanted to hit the sports section and all, but it seemed like really he was focused on the football section.
I say we hit up the sports section, bros.
Chad, what do you mean the sports section? This entire store is a sports section. The fuck?
Oh, bro. I mean, some new football pads.
And yeah, we went to the aisle where the football pads were, the football helmets, the football shoes, the football pants, like the tights. Chad looked ecstatic. He picked out at least 5 pairs of football pads, as well as some saran wrap too. I had no idea why Dick's is supplying saran wrap in the football section. Next, we went to checkout. I simply decided to get a new jacket. Colin got a pair of underwear. We paid and exited Dick's. I guess the police didn't arrive because Steve and Frank were now standing around talking.
Man, let's cut this bullshit, hit up Spencer's.
Bro, why do we have to hit up Spencer's? It's not that interesting. Only if you're dirty-minded it's interesting. But we're not trying to be dirty-minded here, I said.
Exactly, bro. Let's go to Giuliano's Pizzeria instead.
Brian will do that. But we gotta go to Spencer's first. I'm me seeing a chick later today, so I gotta pick up some condoms,
said Steve. We already knew that Steve is always making up stories about his crazy life and everything, but he never seems to follow through. He portrays a very fake lifestyle, and we already knew that it couldn't be further from the truth. Anyway, we don't really mind. We go into Spencer's and took a look around. So at first glance, Spencer's isn't anything too weird. The front of the store just has a bunch of shirts and clothing with a bunch of edgy logos and designs on them. However, we immediately regretted our decision of going into Spencer's, and we saw who the cashier was working that day.
Good afternoon, boys,
he said. It was the creepy clerk, the same guy from Seabase. He was also the same guy that force-fed Colin that 10-inch weenie during the Cranberry Wilderness Crunch. Oh, no. How many fucking jobs do you have? Colin exclaimed.
Oh, boys, we're just visiting some relatives down here in Vanderbilt County. Decided to pick up a job at Spencer's.
Bro, come on. Why do you have to work everywhere?
Oh, boys, some special boys always have some goodies back at Spencer's. Mind if I show you? Yeah, man, let's go,
said Steve, in a hyped tone of voice, mind you. I don't know why Steve said that. It's a creepy clerk, someone you really should not be associating with. But anyway, we followed him into the back nonetheless. We already knew what was located in the back of Spencer's. The dildo section, along with the condoms, and all the other dirty toys. Things that the creepy clerk loves to play with.
I made these toys for special boys,
he said. Okay, fuck this, bro. Fuck this. This shit's like, I'm calling the cops on you if you don't stop right now, I said.
Don't worry, boys. I just like to have a fun time. You already know that?
We don't know about this one, Bruce,
said Chad. I think I had to agree with Chad on this one. I did not like this one single bit. Neither did Colin. Frank was just standing there, laughing frantically.
Spencer's!
Shit, man, let's get out of here. We're about to run, but it's too late. The creepy clerk had already picked up a suspicious-looking pill and popped it in his mouth. Oh shit, we really gotta get out of here now, I exclaimed. We did just that. We booked it back towards the exit of Spencer's until a certain someone blocked the exit with their chubby belly.
Even so soon for this?
They said. It was no one other than Herbert Ernie himself. What? How did you find us, Herbert? Colin demanded.
Well, the creepy clerk, my buddy, messaged me on Instagram. He told me some special boys were in Spencer this afternoon. And when I heard that, I knew we had to come. That's right, boys. When I heard some special boys were here, I always knew I had to work overtime at Spencer's. I will be working the night shift tonight. So, if you boys are willing to stay after hours, you know what I mean. We can grow in our bond together, special boys.
Nah, man, I'm getting the fuck out of here, I said. We all did just that. We bust past Herbert and the creepy clerk's chubby belly and out of Spencer's. People gave us more weird looks as we were running down the mall as fast as we could. But we don't care. We continued running until we reached the opposite end of the mall, near Giuliano's Pizzeria.
In here, Bruce,
said Chad. We do just that. Hello, boys, how's it going? Hey, how's it going? I told the waiter. Can we get a table for 5, please? Sure, follow me. Our waiter then led us to a seat. Next thing we knew, we all ordered. Steve, Frank, and Chad all decided to share a massive anchovy pizza, and Colin and I got meatball subs. But there was a complication.
Oh, I don't know, bro. I'm not a big fan of brochovies. Can we get something else?
Man, shut your bitch ass up. Let's pick around him,
said Steve.
Oh, fair enough. But, Mr. Waiter, sir, on top of that order, could I get a strawberry milkshake? Please?
Of course can, buddy, he said. So 10 minutes later, our food came. It all tasted pretty good for the most part, except there was a second catch, dare I say. I bit into my meatball sub and felt something weird inside of one of my meatballs. I looked inside the meatball, and half-eaten meatball, and realized that on the inside There was some weird, pink, mushy substance inside. It didn't seem like meat, though. It seemed like something a little more dirty, if you know what I mean.
Oh, yes. That came straight from the Spencer's boys,
said the creepy clerk, appearing from behind us in the booth. What? Oh, no, 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 no. Just then, the police arrived and the creepy clerk was taken away. We go home traumatized. However, as we were leaving the mall, we see Herbert tied to the top of a police car. Apparently, he had gotten into the cotton candy machine at one of the arcades, as he was now bloated. He screamed as the police sped away with Herbert and the creepy clerk, both in separate cars. We all went home traumatized from that day at the mall, and that then concludes the Francis Mall of the Dirty.